back from Hartfield. 1-0 Burnley. Scott Hartfield. He's been threatening that recently. And all the Burnley players run to the Darwin end. Oh, what a goal! What a goal from Robbie Blake! Burnley's first goal in the Premier League is something very, very special.
Wade Elliott has that change of pace and he's got away from Montgomery. It's the path of McCann and the follow-up finds the net. What a strike from Wade Elliott! A bolt from the Claret and Blue.
Oh goodness me! What a goal from Patterson! If that is to be the one that takes them to Wembley, you cannot argue with that. Pure quality.
Here goes Mike Conroy. Still time for a winner, maybe. John Francis! They came to York in their thousands. They're going home as champions.
I mean, if there's any justice in the world, Burnley would surely score from this corner. Swung right in there. Ball in there. Yeah! Michael Kennan! Oh, that's justice! That is justice at the Amex Stadium. Burnley are level and deserve to be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Turfcast podcast. Full-time show after a very, 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 very impressive win yesterday against Wigan Athletic at the JJB at the DW Stadium. It's been a while since it's been called that, hasn't it? But yeah, we were fantastic, weren't we? It's good to see Burnley finally clicking. I think I said yesterday it felt like click day. I think what did I put on Twitter now? The day that Burnley clicked and the day that Wigan also got dicked. But we were really, really good, weren't we, to be fair? I thought we looked good going forward, just like we did against Blackpool. We looked very, very good defensively, apart from the obvious error for their goal. But I saw a stat yesterday, I think I said it on the 60-second review, that they had 18 shots and we blocked 8 of them. So that just shows how well we were doing defensively. I'll just quickly get the stats up now and put them on the screen for you, just to make sure that I am right and I'm not just dreamt that. But if that stat is correct, which I do believe it is, then that just shows how well we were doing defensively. Just quickly get it up. There we go. Right, so it's on my screen now. Good to see the comments coming in. I'll just read some comments out just as I get that sorted. Carl says, morning up the Clarets, morning, mate. Mark Howard says, realising it wasn't a dream. Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it? I do sometimes think, wake up in the morning after Burnley done a very, very impressive win like that and think it was a dream. But get your comments coming in. There's quite a few of you watching now, especially for a Sunday morning. I was a little bit worried that maybe you'd all be hungover or something like that. I mean, I am a little bit, to be honest, but nothing a few paracetamol can't sort out. But I'll just quickly get the stats up for the screen then. Yeah, so there we go. It should be on your screen now. Just wait for it to load. There you go. So that's the Wigan one. Obviously, Burnley 5. We all know how it finished. So just going to the statistics for the game. So, right, look, this is what I'm on about. Where's it gone now? Blocked shots. They had 8 blocked shots. That just shows how well we did defensively for me. I thought we did very, very well defensively. Possession, 55%. The lowest possession we've had this season, I think. But yet the most goals scored. And I saw someone saying on Twitter earlier that having the ball all the time gives teams a chance to get in shape. Whereas if you let the team have a ball a little bit, they're going to try and obviously attack you. That's the whole point of having the ball. So they've obviously come at us and we've been able to exploit the gaps. Some of the stuff that I thought it was Telly yesterday that did that assist where he nutmegged the lad, but it weren't, were it? It was Vitinho. He was brilliant. Vitinho was brilliant. He was really, really good. Goal attempts, we only had 8 to their 18, but it's all about the quality of the shots, because we've had 8 shots and 6 on target. They've had 18 shots and 4 on target. So that tells me that obviously A, we're blocking a lot, as I've mentioned earlier, and B, their shots were just very, very poor. I remember a few of them going a bit hayward. And we only had 6 on target and we scored 5. So that tells me that what I was saying just then about the quality of the shots. Now, I did ask for some videos to be sent in yesterday. Just had another result from Positive Martin. That's a great name on a day like today. It says fantastic results up the Clarets. Now, I did ask for some fans to send videos in. I only got the one video. So instead of doing a fan reaction show separately, I'm going to bring this into this show today, and it's from a lad called Jamie. So we'll just see what Jamie has to say.
Just got back from Wigan. It was an absolutely unbelievable performance. I think Brownhill was absolutely outstanding. One of the best players in the league, without a doubt. J-Rod held the ball great, took his finish well. I thought Muric, it was his best game for us, penalty aside. I would like to look at the highlights again just to see if he got to the ball first. And, did Taylor have the man covered? It was hard to see from the away end. But his distribution was good for at least 2 of the goals. I thought, Vitinho got comfortable at left back. I am a bit worried that a lot of the long balls Wigan were doing seemed to cause issues in the back early on, but we seemed to rattle that ship pretty well. Overall, great experience, great performance. When was the last time we scored 5 goals? And it's just on to Tuesday.
Yeah, just to go on some points there, he said he was worried about some of the long balls that were causing us problems in the first half. At the time, I was worried, but we rode the storm. So I wasn't worried about that in the end. I thought Burnley dealt with it quite well. We've already gone over the block shots. I thought we defended quite well. He's mentioned the penalty there. I've not had a chance to see that back, but at the time, and I have to put my tin hat on, I was furious with Muric for steaming out so keenly. So I just thought, I didn't want him to stay on his line, obviously, and I didn't want him to stand in the middle and just give the man an easy lob. But I just felt like he came out of his line too quickly, too eager. That's the word I'm looking for. He was too eager. I think because of last week, he was keen to impress. And he did impress for me. He made some good saves and he started 2 of the attacks, I think it was. But I don't see why he's running out so eager at that point. Just some more comments coming in. I've got someone waiting, Tom, in the green room, so I'll be bringing him in just a couple of minutes. Just go through some comments before we bring him in. We've got Carl. He says, been coming that scoreline. Hopefully we can get another run together now. Yeah, I feel like it's been coming. I felt like we should have battered Blackpool. It should have been 3-0 at half time. But because of the mistakes between Muric and Cullen, whatever, we won't get into that debate again. Obviously, we give him a chance into the game. It was 2-1 at half time, then it was 3-1, and I thought, we'll run away with this now. And obviously, we didn't. So I do feel like that's been coming. I thought we were unlucky against Huddersfield not to score more because of poor finishing. Connor Roberts had that chance, didn't he? So yeah, I do feel like it has been coming, and I do feel like more will come if we play like that. But I also feel we'll concede goals as well. So we'll be interested to see what happens over the next few weeks. Jake Mayer says, I won't be in a rush to go back there, but what a day out. Yeah, really good day out. I really enjoyed it. I've been to Wigan a few times. That's the first time I've seen us win there. I saw us get beat. I think it was 2-0 in the Premier League. I saw us draw 0-0 in 2013. I think it's only the third time I've been. But that was a fantastic result. And this is what I put on Twitter yesterday, and people forget about this. We've still got Scott Twine to come in this side. So we are going to be sensational. And I don't think I'm getting carried away in the slightest, but we are definitely going to be sensational. Right, Tom, I'm going to bring you in. I will just get rid of this comment now. How we doing, mate? You all right?
I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, all good, thanks. So what do you think of yesterday's performance then, mate?
Well, I mean, it was great, wasn't it? I watched it at home, obviously fully legally. I watched the Wigan stream to start with, and the commentary was incredibly one-sided. But now I thought from start to finish, I thought we controlled the game. I just felt like, obviously, we had just over 50% possession, which was quite low for us this season. But I just felt we were much more purposeful with it.
Yeah.
Every time we got the ball, we actually looked to create something. Rather, there was little to no just pointless passing it between Taylor and Harwood-Bellis yesterday. One thing I really noticed, Cullen was dropping into left back every time we went forward with the ball, which made us look really solid and allowed Vitinho to just full license to get forward. And the other thing was, I felt that Harwood-Bellis was immense from start to finish.
Yeah.
Taylor probably should have had the man covered for the goal. But echoing your thoughts from a minute ago, I don't know why Muric has come steaming out quite as he did. Don't think he needed to go to ground. I think he could have just sort of closed the ground space right down and made himself big rather than committing. But no, I thought it was a really solid performance. Every time the pass isn't on between the defenders, Harwood-Bellis is then breaking the line into that space in the midfield. And, we created so much yesterday, even though we only had 6 shots on target or 8 shots on target. I just felt like we looked so much more dangerous with the ball. Teller's brought so much to this team. What a signing he is. That is absolutely unbelievable bit of business. And yeah, on to Tuesday. And following from the last couple of performances against Blackpool, which leaving that game, it really felt like a loss. But I'm really positive now, and there's still so much more to come from this team, which is just really exciting.
Yeah, I was saying on Twitter yesterday, or the 60-second view, I can't remember. I still feel like we're not, like we've clicked, but I still feel like there's a couple more gears to come. And just going back to the point about Scott Twine as well, we've still got him to come into the side, and he looked class, albeit in League One last year. So I agree with you. I still think there's a couple more gears to come. So do you think we can go on like a decent run now and hopefully just keep going from gear to gear?
I think that's what it's all about in this league, really, because the games come so thick and fast. It's about making the most of momentum, and if we can get ourselves in and around the playoffs before the winter break, we haven't got that many nationals going to the World Cup, so it's a good time for Kompany to even get his style even more ingrained into this team. But for 13 new signings, and a lot of them are playing, I think it's unbelievable how quick it's really coming together. They're looking like a great side already. And I'm obviously from Norwich, as you can probably tell, but all of my friends mostly are Norwich fans. And they've been up and down a few times this season, and they're all saying to me, you'll be fine. You'll be top two, just because the Championship is quite, there's a lot of teams looking strong now, but it is a fairly poor league compared to what it used to be 6-7 years ago when we were last in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that Reading are top now says a lot, and the fact that Blackburn were top says a lot. Just shows that not many, even your teams that's supposed to be, doing very, very well, like your Boroughs and your Swanseas. I got told that they were going to be thereabouts. They're both in the bottom three, bottom four, I think. Or Middlesbrough won yesterday, so they might have pulled out. But just you've obviously watched it on TV, so you'll have seen replays and better angles and looked at the commentary from their goal. I've still not seen it from the actual moment. You mentioned there you thought Taylor could have had his man covered. What are your thoughts on the goal then? Like just going into detail about it.
Yeah, Taylor, he got sucked in, and Keane was sort of left on his own as the ball came over. He was Taylor's man. Again, I think it comes down to Muric. He didn't need to go down. It was a penalty all day long. To start with, first thing that went through my mind was it could be a red, but I think the ref dealt with it quite well in the end, played the advantage. We apart from the goal, which was frustrating because it's another silly error, we looked so much better at the back than we did against Blackpool. Every time Blackpool came forward in the second half last week, they looked like they're scoring. It just looked like there wasn't much organisation at the back. But with the block shots that you were saying about earlier, that just shows that there's a bit more of the Dyche style of defending coming back into this team this year with the bodies on the line kind of mentality. And I think that's what you need in this league because, you need to ride the storm like we did for a little while before half time yesterday. And there's every game in this league, there's always a moment like that where you come under pressure, and it's all about just getting out of that situation. And, we went in half time in front and came out a completely different team in the second half and put our stamp on the game again. And we made Wigan look really average yesterday. They're unbeaten this year. And I think in the second half, I think we were lucky with a Teller goal. It looked offside at the time. It looks offside on the replay.
I'm going to say you'll have seen replays. I haven't. So what do you think that one's offside then?
Yeah, it's definitely offside. With VAR that gets chalked off all day. It doesn't help. It's a rugby pitch. They've got all other lines going all over the pitch, sort of making it easy for the lino. But I don't know how he's not given that because the ball didn't really come through that quickly from Brownhill. He was sort of falling over as he played it, but. No, that one was offside, but at the same time, we had two blatant penalties not given. Can't remember who the second one was on. I think it might have been Teller. But it was just actually unbelievable how it wasn't a penalty. He was nowhere near the ball, took all of the man. But I think the Burnley fans, it was at the other end for starters. They didn't have a great view of it, but it was when we were 3-1 up. So it wasn't, if it was a 2-1, then everyone would have been going mad for it. But it didn't really matter that much at that point. But we got lucky with that goal, but the way the team played when Chalanov looked sharp, he still doesn't look like he's firing all cylinders at the moment. He needs to get used to it, but Bastian looked great when he came on. Goal and assist, took his goal really well. It's Benson. I'm a bit worried about Benson, to be honest. He looks very lightweight, and he's not getting massive amounts of time in a minute, so I don't think Kompany's. I think he's going to be one that takes a bit more time. I thought Bastian was going to take time to bed in, but he's really looking great now. But Yeah, no, it's just really positive. Woke up this morning, sort of had to pinch myself whether we actually scored 5 on the road, but there we go.
Bad, isn't it?
Welcome to the Championship.
Exactly, mate. Thanks for coming on. I'll probably bring you on later again because we're going to do a man of the match vote. But I've got 2 more people waiting. If you need to go, you need to go, mate. But thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate
Cheers,
it. I'll
mate.
bring you
Yeah,
back
no
on in
worries.
around 10 minutes. As I said, though, so obviously Tom's feeling very positive. I'm feeling very positive. I've got 2 more people waiting. These came out of nowhere. Here we go. Anonymous American. Sorry, mate. I should have given you a warning then. I'm going to bring you on. I caught you off guard there. What's your name, mate? Where are you from? America, obviously, but wait.
You can just call me an honest American. How you doing, Joe? I like what you do. I like, everything you do there for Turfcast. I got a few things I wanted to speak about. I see Josh Brownhill playing so well. And again, I wonder what things look like around the winter transfer table, assuming he continues to perform there. I just took a look at the stats. I was like, I know he's been playing well, but I wasn't sure what exactly his stats looked like. 6 games, 4 goals, 1 assist. I wonder if that's a guy that's going to be heavily targeted by other teams around that winter transfer window, especially with how well he's been playing so far this year.
Yeah, it's one of them. I think if you're playing well, your players and your manager is going to come in. Like, people could want Kompany if we're running away with the league. I feel like I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit there, but people could be wanting Kompany. People could be wanting Cullen. People could be. I saw someone today tweeting that if Teller keeps playing ridiculously well, Southampton might even recall him. So it's just part and parcel of the game, innit? People are going to be after him. I do think the recruitment's been pretty good though. So if we lost Brownhill, I think we might be able to replace him pretty. Not easily, but I'd be confident in the club of bringing somebody in. But I think, just going back to Brownhill, he's been fantastic. I didn't know his exact stats, so thank you for that. 4 goals, 1 assist. And I think the fact that he's got Cork and Cullen now behind him has really, really helped him have that free role.
The expectations I had going into this year, I mean, they far excelled past what my expectations were. You had so many new faces that are going to be in the starting lineup in fixtures every single game. And to already see them starting to gel. Again, we're going to see time periods where they struggle. They're a young team. You're going to see at time periods they lose and lack composure. But what we saw today against Wigan, or yesterday, fantastic. It's still my time. Well, I guess it's now 4 a.m. my time. But I mean, what we saw, fantastic out there from them. And I just love the fact that we're playing with pace. We're playing in a situation where we're playing modern day football. It's something I haven't been used to watching. I mean, I joined it and started following Burnley, I guess, under Sean Dyche, and it's different to see this style.
Yeah. So what do you think then? What do you think that comparing the 2 styles? Obviously, there's no one right way to play football, is there? I've always been an advocate of that. I do think that if we went up, we may end up not doing a Bournemouth yesterday, but we'd have to learn how to dig in a little bit better. Although we did dig in quite well yesterday. But from your point of view, from someone out in the States, what are your thoughts on the 2 styles of play and how different they are?
Shit, man. I tell you, it's, just as a casual football fan, I mean, you're going to watch it. It's more entertaining to watch, this style of football. But, you also had to respect what Sean Dyche did, where it was kind of like, hey, you fight for every single inch on the pitch, and you go ahead and say, hey, we may be thoroughly dominating possession, but we're able to win through set pieces. We're able to win through, a ball that squirts through. We're able to go ahead and capitalize on our opportunities. You have to admire that too. And, you're looking at all the positives that we've seen this offseason where things look so dreary. We're saying, hey, we've got to pay 60 million pounds off in a short time period. Over half that debt's already paid with what we've been able to sell off this offseason as well. I'm very optimistic about Vincent Kompany. I think fantastic appointment there as a manager, and I cannot be more thrilled about Alan Pace. I know I had spoken with a few individuals. I'd flown over there last year when they played Man City at Turf Moor, and so many fans I'd spoken to were unhappy and unpleased. Maybe it was just a small sample size about Alan Pace, but I cannot be more thrilled about what he's done for this club.
I'm happy with him. I know I kind of feel like I'm in the minority at the minute, but then I just think people with a negative opinion are more likely to shout louder, so I'm not sure on that. I think it tends to be a generational thing. I think the younger fans wanted to see Burnley marketed better, and I think Alan Pace has done that. I know people sort of like go in and say, oh, bloody hell, all he's done is come in and made the advertising signs and stuff like that. But how much better does the turf look compared to what it used to look? It actually looks like a Premier League ground now.
I can't tell you based off of that. I've only been to one game, but
Still.
I'm just telling you based off of what I've seen recruitment wise. I mean, even like last year, I mean, like we didn't miss on a lot of the guys we had signed. I mean, maybe you could say Wout Weghorst was a guy that came up underwhelmingly short, but you like, okay, Connor Roberts, you look at, okay, Maxwell Cornet was fantastic. Nathan Collins was a very, very solid signing. You look at all these guys that we've signed this offseason as well. They look like all guys for the most part that can contribute even at the championship level.
Yeah. So going back to the actual game itself, then obviously, what were your thoughts on the way that Burnley played, and are you feeling like positive for the rest of the season that Burnley can get back to the Premier League?
I don't have expectations for them to get back to the Premier League this season. If they do, I'm pleasantly surprised. I think there's going to be, major ups and downs this year, just solely because we've got a young team. We've got a whole bunch of new faces that are trying to gel together. There are going to be time periods where we're really low. It's never as bad as you think, and it's never as good as you think. So as well as we played today, we're never as good as you think. And even when we bottle a 3-1 lead 2 weeks ago, it's never as bad as you think. I don't have expectations of them making it immediately back to the Premier League. Even if we make it back, 2 years or 1 year after this year, I'm fine with that. I don't have high expectations there. I think that, hey, we just got to trust in the system. We got to trust in Vincent Kompany. I love what I've seen out of him so far in this club.
Yeah. Just going back to Alan Pace, I've had a comment here from Carl Bolland. He says, old timers need to get with the times. They can't cope with the new playing style, a lot of them. But obviously the first part of that, I agree. I thought that was going to be about Alan Pace. But it's a similar sort of thing, isn't it? I was just saying that generational gap there. I'll sit in the family stand. A lot of people around me were sort of like saying, I hate this new style of play. We need to go back to Dash ways and things like that. I'm like, why? That got us relegated. It's a perfect time to reset, isn't it? Going down to the Championship, the perfect time to reset. Like you said, if it takes 2 years to go back up, which I originally thought it would do, I'm getting a bit carried away after yesterday, admittedly. And so be it, but it's the perfect time to reset.
Look at the average age of the players out there every single day. And I can't be more optimistic about, we have some guys that are very big contributors that are on loan, but the average age of the majority of these players are significantly younger than what we were last season. It was going to take time to rebuild. I wasn't expecting us to replace, 8 or 9 guys that are out there in a starting fixture every single game. And we're in a spot to where, hey, we don't skip a beat. We're back up there in the Premier League. Hey, if we do that, fantastic. I just don't want to set up false expectations.
Yep, fair enough. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on, mate. Like I said, to Tom, I'll bring you back in towards the end if you're still here. If you need to go, you got something to do, then fair play.
It's 4:30 my time, but Joe, thanks so much.
No worries, mate. Brilliant to hear from you, and a brilliant microphone as well. Connor, we'll bring you in just a second. I won't throw you under the bus like I did with Mr. Anonymous American there and catch him off guard. But just going up to come in, we've kind of discussed Muric already, but we'll just quickly. I'll give my thoughts on it, then I'll bring Connor in and he can give his thoughts on that before the game. Do you prefer Muric? Prefer Muric to who? Bailey? Yeah, probably. He's made 2 mistakes in 2 games now. I think the one against Blackpool, I think it was a silly pass, but I do think Cullen could have done better with it. And yesterday, I haven't seen replays of it, but I don't understand why he's come steaming out so eager and so keen. For me, he should have not stayed on his line. He should have, as me and Tom were saying earlier, got out there and got out quickly, but just stood his ground. I don't know why he's gone to ground so easily. And as Tom was saying, I didn't even realise at the time it could have easily been a red card. So I don't want to give him too much shit yet, to be honest. I won't say I'm worried yet either, because I understand what he brings, his style of play. I believe he's obviously Kompany loves him with his feet. I believe he created 2 of the goals yesterday. So that's just something I've seen on Twitter. I might be wrong with that. So we'll see. But I'll keep him in there for now. What's the point in dropping him after a couple of games? I don't see the point. And yeah, as you mentioned there, he is only 23. He's going to get better. So I'm not too worried just yet, but he needs to not be as keen. For me, Carl Bolland says, I sit in the Jimmy Matt Lower and they absolutely hound Muric to hoof and get rid. They need to get behind him and stop abusing him. Exactly that. We just need to relax. We just need to relax and get used to this new style of play. Like I said on Twitter after Blackpool, like there was one point where somebody passed the ball back to him. This is after his mistake, admittedly, but there was one point where somebody passed the ball back to him. And the Blackpool striker, I don't know his name, but he was sprinting towards Muric, like a big 6'5" man or whatever he was, just steaming towards him, like ready to press him. And everyone around me is already booing him. Like, get rid of it. Why are you giving it him? How's that going to make him feel when you've got some like big, massive tangerine bastard steaming down at you, and people around you are going, get rid of it, when you know that you've been told not to get rid of it. So he's that's not going to help. It's counterproductive. That's the word I'm looking for. But Connor, I'm going to bring you in now. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Cheers, pal. How about you?
Yeah, thanks for coming on again, mate. I appreciate it. So we've just been discussing Muric there. What are your thoughts on the new goalkeeper?
Yeah, I understand the frustration that people have had with him. Couple of mistakes have obviously, well, yesterday obviously didn't cost us, but in the Blackpool game, like you said, he passed it over to Cullen. I think it was more of a bad touch than anything to do with Muric. But sort of echoing what you were saying, he's only a young lad. He's 23, and if you've got the crowd on your back, even if you're an experienced pro, being asked to pass from the back, and you're getting whinged at by the fans, and it's gonna cause you to maybe make those mistakes. I think the crowd need to get a bit more composure. If we're asking the team to have a bit of composure, maybe the crowd needs to reciprocate that. But
yeah,
no, I think he's done well so far. It's a brand new team. He's come in. He's been asked to play a role that obviously he's been used to at City. But I just think it because it's been such a different. It's like contrast, isn't it? It's completely different from what we were doing previously. So I think that's why the fans are so nervous about it. But it's come good. It came good yesterday, 100%.
Exactly. Like I said, I think he started 2 of the goals. Well, even if he did start 2 of the goals, there's so many times that he passes it out or invites a bit of pressure and dinks it over, and then we can attack because we can exploit the lines. But you mentioned there the crowd need to get composure. Completely agree. I wrote about it in last week's Lanks Live article. It's counterproductive. But do you think that composure comes with the players looking more composed in being asked and what they're being asked to do, and obviously more results like yesterday, the higher we are. If we're first and 6 points clear, I'm not going to give a shit if Muric gives the ball away or whatever. So do you think that will come with better results and the players looking more composed themselves as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's brand new. It's brand new to them all. Brand new teams come together. I think the way that we've managed to play already. How many games are we into the championship now? 6? Is it 5? 6?
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah. I think we've done really well. I said at the start of the season, give us 10 games and we'll see where we are. I wasn't expecting anything like what we've seen so far. I don't think we've been given. I don't think we've got the points we deserve so far, and I think most people will agree. And we're in 6th position, and I think it's going really well so far, and it can only get better from here. And yesterday was just it just showed when it clicks what can happen, and I think we've got a couple more levels to go up. Yeah, I don't think yesterday was the finished article at all. I think I think we could be in for a really good season.
Yeah, completely agree with that. Obviously, we were just discussing the league table there, so I thought I'll bring the league table up on screen. We have played 6 games. Obviously, won twice, lost once, and drawn 3 times. Red in the top, which is absolutely mind-boggling. I had them as going down. I still think they'll struggle. I think they'll fall. Sheffield United, I didn't realise, they were so high up. I thought, I'll be honest with you, I've not been paying attention to the league table. I don't normally bother until about 10 league games. I knew Hull were doing relatively well, but again, I feel like they're fade. I'm surprised Norwich are so high up. I thought they were struggling. Again, Rotherham, that's another team who are going to drop away. So you look at that top 6, you've got Reading who are going to fall away 100%. Rotherham who are going to fall away 100%. And Hull, I think they'll fall away to about 8th or 9th. So it's interesting, the fact that, we've had this apparently abysmal start, according to most opposition fans. Fans of Blackburns and your Prestons. Yeah. But having said that, down at the bottom, obviously you've got Middlesbrough down there. They'll come up. Swansea, they'll start coming up. Obviously Coventry, that's a false position because they've only played 3 games due to the pitch issues. But for this negative start that most opposition fans have been saying, it's not all been that bad, has it?
No, it's looking good. People are saying that we've not had a great start, and I think the results haven't reflected the way that we've actually played. And that's we're sixth, and it could have been so much better if we got the results we actually deserved. We could be right up there. So, to be fair, after we won yesterday, I hadn't looked at the table properly prior to yesterday, but I was surprised at how high up we were, considering that we've not really. It don't feel like we've got that many points on the board, but we're still up there. And as it starts to click, you just got to think it's. I think we'll be right up there this season. I really do. And obviously it's early days. It's early days, and we've not had the best of results so far. But just from what I've seen on the pitch, I just can't see any team that we're not going to be able to come up against and say, right, we can win this, which is a nice it's a nice change from what we've been going through the last few years.
Yeah, definitely. Mark Howard says, I'm loving this new style of play, including all the passing at the back. It was never going to happen overnight to click. When Pep went to City, it took a year for that to completely bed in, using better players. Yeah, I agree with that, Mark. But just going back to what you were saying, Connor, like I still feel like we have a couple of gears left to go. I mean, I've said that myself as well earlier. But Scott Twine, we've still got Scott Twine to come back into the side. I do feel like the difference in these podcasts, by the way, when we get beaten, when we win, we're all now suddenly going, oh my God, we're amazing. And as before, we're like, is it really going to work? But we've got Scott Twine's come back in the side. There was still elements to the game yesterday which we could have done better, i.e. the Muric and the Taylor incident. And then there was still some sloppy passes in the middle. So if we do fully start proper kicking, then we're really going to I was going to say piss the league, but I don't want to say that. But we're going to do very well. It's going to be very enjoyable at the very least.
Yeah, I keep thinking the same. I'm trying to sort of keep myself grounded. From what I've seen so far, if we can really make it click the way that we're playing, I don't think there's any team in this league that's going to be able to contain it. But it's all ifs and buts in it. It's whether we can actually make sure that it does click. Obviously, we're going to have sort of low points in the season. There's a lot of games to play in a short period of time. Obviously, we seem to have that depth now, which is something we've lacked for a long time. Yeah. So it's nice to be able to sort of, I'm not going to say field a completely second team, but it almost feels on that bench. There's not that many players that I wouldn't feel confident in them coming in and doing a good job, which again, the last couple of years, it hasn't been the case at all, has it?
Yeah, I mean, I've just to echo what Tom said earlier. I was a little bit worried about Bastian, but he came on yesterday and played very, very well. I thought he played well against Huddersfield, but then since then he'd been a little bit poor. But obviously got the goal against Shrewsbury. Yeah. It's Shrewsbury. I mean that with the greatest respect. But then yesterday he came on and did very, very well. Comment here from CNC Megatronics. Big Brian Jensen took a year to bed into Stan's team, and he was with us for a decade. Muric needs time and the fans to be patient. Playing out from the back, even the top goalkeepers can be caught out. And yeah, just going back to something you said about obviously people hounding Muric and giving him a lot of stick and stuff. Was it against Blackpool where Ashley Westwood was in the commentary box and he was saying, look, as players, we know what's happening. We can feel it coming down onto the pitch. So if West is saying it, obviously they're feeling it on the pitch. And then Michael Appleton, the Blackpool manager, said it at the time. So if the opposition teams can feel it, we're just going to give them an easy team talk and an easy excuse to get back into the game.
Yeah. Well, he's 23.
Exactly.
I said before, you get an experienced keeper in there, and even someone with experience is going to struggle when you've got all the fans on your back. As soon as the ball comes to you and they're shouting, "Get rid!" It's just gonna make him nervous, isn't it? So he may make the wrong decision at a time if the crowd keep getting on his back. I think it'll improve. It's early days and people aren't used to it. Give it a few more games, and if we start to sort of click like we did do yesterday, and it starts working a little bit better, and they can see the progression through the team as we play, then maybe the crowd will sort of calm down with it. I just think it's because it's so new to everyone, and that's why they're so nervous. But fingers crossed.
I agree with that.
Yeah, fingers crossed as we go, people will calm down a little bit and see the bigger picture, really.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think we need to be a bit patient and hopefully just relax and not do what Pro Wolves just said. We don't need to hoof it. Obviously, there are times and occasions where I just think, all right, maybe a big boot will help. But if there is a chance not to do that, then don't do that. Just going back to the game yesterday as well. Yep. Obviously, we've mentioned Brownhill earlier, but he was absolutely fantastic yesterday. That was my probably favourite aspect of the game yesterday, the way that he played. I love the fact that he's been given this role now because he's got the two people doing the legwork for him, basically, so he can do all the easy stuff. Yeah. But what were your favourite aspects of the game yesterday then, obviously, apart from the scoreline?
I think it was the fact there was better balance. Before, I think a couple of people have mentioned it already, but passing it around between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper, there didn't seem to be an awful lot of that yesterday, and the transition up to the final third just seemed to be a lot more seamless. And that was my favourite thing. Like, we had the least possession we've had all season, I think, so far, but we created more chances than I think we have before. We scored obviously more. We were more efficient with the chances that we got. So that's 100% what I was most happy with. It's nice having the ball just as a bit of a change, just passing it wherever it may be on the pitch, but to be able to actually see the progression and getting it to the final third, and to see us actually score a few which has been coming, by the way. I think someone's been due a good drubbing for a couple of games. I thought it was going to be Blackpool, especially after the start that we made.
Yeah, I agree.
But 100%, that was the best aspect of yesterday, just the way that we played in the final third, which we've not really seen this season so far.
Yeah, just going back to Muric one last time, because it seems to be a debate that's come late in the show, but quite a big one. I enjoy it. Andrew Greaves says, "Morning, chaps. Think Muric, aside from being a bit rash for the penalty, was superb. Mixed up the long and shorts, and we got 2 goals from it. There you go. So I was right when I said that we had 2 goals from it. I knew I was. I backed myself. But yeah, Andrew makes a great point. There are times when you need to mix it up, and I feel like he's probably learned his lesson a little bit from the other week, or Kompany spoke to him and things like that. I remember him making a good save for a header as well. So yeah, I know that people around me, like where I sit, and even on the coach on the way back yesterday, someone said to me, like, you reckon that Muric is a bastard fan or what? Like, what's he doing? That's 2 mistakes. I'm like, I couldn't be arsed arguing, so I just laughed. It was one of them situations where I can't be arsed here. But I think people just need to understand, like the perfect sentence you said earlier, just look at the bigger picture. Just look at what he's doing aside from that.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's done well. It's going to sound daft, this, as an actual keeper as well. I think he's made some good saves so far.
He made some good saves against Blackpool, didn't he? Obviously, he made the mistake, it's a debate whether it's his mistake or Cullen's mistake. But he made some good saves against Blackpool. One where he made his body really big and got down really well. So he has done quite well. He has made some big saves, like you say.
Yeah, I'm really not concerned about him. I've said it a few times. He's 23. He's 23 years old, which for a keeper he's a baby. And to come into this team, a brand new team, being asked to play a completely different way than what we're used to, I think he's done well. I think the mistakes, obviously, early doors are going to start, but once we get going and he knows his role, and he knows when to play it short and when to get red. I think yesterday was the difference was he didn't just look to play it short every single time. I think we played a few more long balls, and like you said, he set up 2 goals.
Yeah.
So I think it's just getting the mix right, isn't it? Making sure that he's not just passing it short for the sake of passing it short and knowing what he needs to do and when he needs to do it. But that'll just come with experience.
Yeah. Morning, Phil. He said his head's delicate this morning. I've had a couple of paracetamol, so I'm fine now. I'm doing a live show, mate. That's how fine I am. Then I'm going to go to Whalley later on as well. I believe there's some sort of farmers market there, so I might have a look down there. But yeah, everyone start getting your man of the matches in, actually, because Tom's just come back into the room, so I'm going to bring Tom in a minute. We're all going to have a debate about the man of the match. I know who mine is. I've mentioned him several times already, so I think you can guess. Yeah, just for one last point on Muric, for everyone can get their man of the matches in, so start putting them in the comments now. Everyone is used to watching Pope, who's arguably England's number 1, and that's obviously why we're struggling to get used to Muric, isn't it? But all Pope would have done, which is obviously the point that Matt's making, is kicked it out of play. Yeah. So I think that's what people are panicking about.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think it's been mentioned so far. Going slightly off topic, that 4th goal, I've not watched it back, but surely we made about 500 passes in the build up to that. J-Rod had a little back heel, and then Brownhill's little cut in. Honestly, it was one of the best build up goals that I've seen us score, barring maybe Everton. But I don't know if anyone else has obviously watched it back and can disagree. But it seemed to be loads and loads of passes. I don't know how many, but it seemed like it was loads before. We were all laying about 5 minutes before we actually scored.
Yeah, I do remember that. Actually. I was struggling to remember the actual goal, but now you mentioned the all-laying, because I was filming it and I was like I was going to do a match day vlog or try to do it. I'm working tonight and then going out. I'm going like that and that up, and I was like, Ray. Just to bring Andrew back in as well, because he makes another good point here. You can tell he's a journalist. Says, I think the big aspect from yesterday was actually having less possession, allowing the opposition to have the ball, tempts them out, and that gives the space between the lines, etc. I said the exact same thing earlier on. So hopefully, hello, buddy, you all right? So hopefully, a few people noticed that as well. But I agree with that. Connor, what are your thoughts on that?
Sorry about that. What was that?
Saying how it brings, how letting the other team, having less possession brings the other team in that, it coerces them out.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it was important to find that blend. Before it just seemed we were just possession for possession's sake, but now we can see where the lines are, and we're getting in between them a lot more easily. It seemed yesterday anyway, and fingers crossed that's something that's just going to continue going forward.
Yeah, Right, Tom, I'm going to bring you back in. I don't want to end up doing to you what I did to Anonymous American and catching you off guard. So there's your warning, and there he is, nice and ready. Nice, paused and ready. Man of the match then, I'm going to go for Josh Brownhill. I think you both can obviously guess that already. Connor, I'll start with you because you're at the top. Who's your man of the match?
Yeah, Brownie, easy.
Yeah, and Tom?
Same as you, boys. No question about
well,
it.
that were a good debate, boys. I enjoyed the man of the match debate. But no, it's only going to be one man, isn't it? Let's have a look at this. Have a look at some of the comments. Carl Bolland says Brownhill, hands down. Matt Lowcock says JB. Greavesy, he's made 3 comments. He's got a nickname already. Greavesy says Brownhill, man of the match, just ahead of Vinny. I agree with that. Vinny played very, very well. And that Megs that he did was that the 4th goal or the 3rd goal? I can't remember. All just blend into one. Fantastic player. Ross says Brownhill. So everyone pretty much says Brownhill. So he played really well. And I don't want to go into it too much because I mentioned it already. But the fact that Cullen and Cork are there has given him a free sort of role. And I feel like that's it. I feel like he's going to be the best midfielder in this league if he isn't already. Yeah. To be honest with you.
I think I'm a little bit nervous for the rest of the transfer window, really. Just fingers crossed no one comes in for him.
Well, thankfully, there's only like 4 or 5 days left of it, isn't there?
Yeah.
He looks like he's absolutely loving his football at the moment, though.
Yeah.
He really does. This season, he looks like he's getting loads out of the training. I think he's always been an attacking midfielder, and we were playing him. Our centre mids are only ever holding midfielders really in the Prem. So I think this role this year, he's just coming on strength for strength.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think he's going to get better as well.
Yeah, I think he was one of the only players that came down and really sort of made a point of saying, I want to get this club back to where it belongs. And I like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I like that from a player, obviously. So, yeah, fingers crossed we can keep hold of him. He will be absolutely superb this season. How many scored already? 3 from midfield. I
think someone said 4 earlier. When Anonymous American said he scored 4.
He scored 4. Yeah.
Yeah, 4. Luton, Blackpool, and then 2 yesterday.
Yeah. He'll score a shed load this season if he carries on the way he's going.
Yeah. He could end up being our top goal scorer.
He could be. I was thinking, do you know, when I was watching it yesterday, I thought that. I thought it genuinely. When was the last time we could say our top goal scorer came from midfield? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I think Twine will be top goal scorer when he gets back.
Honestly, I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to see him come in and play in a side like if he'd have been playing yesterday, he'd have scored as well. Yeah. Maybe even 2 or 3. Could have even got an hat-trick. He'd have been so good in that game yesterday.
What's actually wrong with him? I don't know what injury he's got. How long?
He had a muscle tear, a slight muscle tear.
Okay, so he's not going to be out for ages.
No, I think Kompany said a couple of games ago that he's got a couple of games left until he comes back. So you might see him on the bench against Millwall. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. But anyway, lads, it's been a pleasure. I think you're both making your debuts there on the full-time show. Both did very, very well. Big shout out to the Anonymous American as well who came on. It's been a pleasure. If you've just come into the stream and you wanna watch it from the start, once we've finished, I'll tell you what, lads. I'll just quickly take you off screen. I'll bring you back in when we're done. What I'm saying is, when we finish the stream, it stays on YouTube. So if you want to go and watch it afterwards, you can. You can watch it at your leisure. You can watch it just before the F1, which starts in a few hours, or if you go into the Wally Market like me, you can watch it when you come back. Or if, like Matt, you go into the Corn Blues Fest, which I'm sure a lot of you are, then watch it after that. Or if you prefer podcasts and you're driving to work tomorrow and you just want to listen to it on the way to work, then just go on to our podcast feed and you'll find it there. But it's been a pleasure having Connor and Tom on, and the Anonymous American. I'd love to tell you his name, but he didn't tell me. But he had a beautiful microphone. It's one of the microphones that I've always wanted. Fantastic voice because of his microphone. But yeah, I will try and get a pre-game show done before the Millwall game. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround, so I do sometimes struggle when it's so quick, and I'm working tonight, working tomorrow as well, so we'll see. And if not, I'll probably do a full-time show either on Tuesday night after the game or Wednesday. And if I don't manage to do that, then I'm not dedicated enough, am I? But no, joking aside, thank you everybody for coming on. Thank you everyone in the comments. I particularly enjoyed the comment that got the Muric debate going from Adrian's Edits. So I do always encourage comments, people coming in and helping us discuss things. So that gave us a good 10 minutes of Muric debate. So thank you for that. So thank you for everyone for watching. Thank you for everyone for coming in and commentating, and especially thank you to the lads who came on the show. But thank you, and we'll see you next time.